Hello there, faithful. This is Andy, and I'm coming to you from the extremely cool foyer of one of the greatest churches in the world. This is Westside Family Church, the Lenexa campus. They are doing some amazing things here, and all the noise that you hear in the background, it's 200 and some kids that are on a scavenger hunt. So if you hear them, that's all that's going on. I've been brought here this week to do a in-house camp that they're doing here, actually sleeping and living in the church and eating here. It's just a really unique program and going so well. They're very creative and doing some great stuff. My family's here too. They're not at the church. They're staying at the Great Wolf Lodge just across the way, and it's been a great week. The reason I'm bringing you this video is not to talk about this church or this camp, but the realization that I've had at the end of summer, with this being the last time I've spoken to a children's group. I think I've done 5 or 6 different children's camps this summer, and I realized something after I spoke to them last night. At every single camp, I've told the same story. It's a story I told in our church as well, but I've realized that the reason I'm telling this story doesn't necessarily have to do entirely with the kiddos. God's been whispering to me, this is for you too, buddy. It says in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, "For God did not give you a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and a sound mind." In other words, He can give us a spirit of fear. And for those of you who know, I've got brain surgery coming up next week. It's nothing I would choose. It's not something I would want, but it's something that's necessary. We've prayed for healing. We've sought all kinds of other direction. But this appears to be the way God's going to take care of things for us. And the truth is that it'll make me a better husband, better father, better pastor. I'll just have a better life when this is all over. So it is the right decision. But right now, it's scary. It's intimidating. And the truth is that it's not a decision I want to make. So in hearing this story again and again and again, as I've told it, God has said, listen, this is for you. It's what I've been telling you as well. So, I just offer this to you. If you've been in our faith community or one of these camps, you've heard it before. But hopefully it'll be a reminder to you as it is to me that God does not give us fear. We do. We do that. So have a great day. Many blessings. And we'll talk to you very soon. Don't be afraid. God is.
Make a hard decision. When you follow Jesus, I told you last night, I saw some of the adults look at me with this eye. Huh? Sound a little bit like Scooby-Doo. Huh? Because I said, following Jesus is not easy. I know we're all about grace, and Jesus does everything for us, but when we follow Jesus, He asks everything of us. He asks everything of us. And if we're really going to follow Him, it's eventually going to make some hard decisions. Stop watching that. Stop talking like that. Start following me. Start serving me. It doesn't mean that that's how we get to heaven. What Jesus did for us when He died on the cross, that's all that we need for Him to forgive us of our sins. But for us to follow after Him, to be His disciple, that's going to require some hard decisions. What does that mean? I know you guys have one of these here. We actually have one of these in Kansas too. The Great Wolf Lodge. I take it by your applause. Some of you have been there. Who's been to the Great Wolf Lodge before? Quite a few of you. Quite a few of you. Now, I don't know if they're all the same, but at the Great Wolf Lodge that we went to just this last spring, they have the slides and they have the lazy river and I have all this. But one of the things that they had that was absolutely amazing, I had never seen before, was they have the great big bucket, the 2,000-gallon, 25,000-gallon bucket. And if you haven't been there, let me explain this to you. About every 5 to 10 minutes, this thing fills with water. 2,500 gallons of water. And then it goes, every 5 to 10 minutes, it goes, dink, 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 dink. And the bucket goes, and it pours down 4 stories. And it cascades onto the floor, and it just, there's this spot, this destruction zone, where if you stand there, it goes, and just obliterates whatever is there. And this is fun. And we stood there, and we did the slides and everything, and then we saw where this bucket, 2,500 gallons of water from 4 stories. He goes, bah! And my boys go, let's do it. I'm like, I came to have fun, not die. They said, come on, let's do it. And I said, maybe later, which is dad code for hopefully you'll forget and we'll never do it. I don't know if you knew that, but... So we did slides and stuff, and a few hours later, they're playing basketball over in the water pool, and Mom and I were sitting in the hot tubs, and I'm watching this tink, 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 tink. And I'm watching guys going there, hey, I'll take this. And that water comes down, and they go... Guy drags his girlfriend in there. She's like, no, I don't want to kill. Don't. Water comes out. I hate you. Guys drag their little kids in there with their little swimming diapers on. Water comes down. Kids naked. I mean, it's crazy. And I'm sitting there in the hot tub thinking, why did they even put that in here? That thing is nuts. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm watching all this happen, and then my wife gets up to go get something at the snack shack over there, and I remember thinking to myself, I've got to do this. I don't even know what came over me. I said, I cannot leave this place with my boys thinking I am too chicken to do this. I said, but in case I am a chicken, I better do it alone first. So if I cry, they won't see it. So I got up, and while nobody was with me, I walked over and I found that spot on the floor. It was obviously worn. I knew I had a couple minutes because nobody had gathered there yet. I'm like, all right, Lord, if this is my last moment on earth, I hope you found me faithful. And I wait and I hear, dink, 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 dink. And in my mind, it's like a movie, slow motion. Dink, dink, dink. And that bucket goes. And I can almost hear, who dares disturb my slumber? It starts to come over the top. That water goes. It hits that first landing, and I'm like, I remember thinking to myself, certainly it can't be that bad. Dude, it hit me. I played football in high school. It felt like a linebacker hitting me in the chest, only it was cold and like 1,000 little needles. I'm just like, sucked all the air out of my body. I'm thinking I'm going to die. I look over at this 4-year-old girl. She's smiling. What is wrong with you? It's just, I stop, I step back, and I go, ow! And then after a moment, I go, that was awesome! I should get my kids. I went and got my kids. I said, come here, come here, come here. I just stayed here, and they go, Dad, this is where the waterfall comes. I go, I know. And they went, and they said, did you do it? I went, yeah. And I held their hands, and here it comes. Dink, 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 dink. And they go, is it hurt? And I go, oh, yeah! And I look down, and, Noah's in the fetal position. Nathan's eyes have been washed out of the sockets. They're hanging by the cords. It's just... Okay, that was a little exaggeration, but it was horrible. You know what I mean? And then you get done, and they look at me and they go, that hurts. I can't, it's pain, it's cold, and it's miserable. Yes, get your mother. That's her. We did it like a half a dozen times, and every time it came down, it was colder and harder and worse. It was beautiful. I can't explain it any other way, because you would stand there, every time you'd stand there and you'd see that bucket start to come, you're like, bring it home, baby. You know what it's like to follow Jesus? Shh, look at me. You know what it's like to follow Jesus? Here's what it's like to follow Jesus. It's to know, if I make this decision, nobody's going to understand. My friends may call me names, but I'm in it. I'm in it. Oh. is going to hurt. But it's beautiful. Look at me, because even though it's not what everybody else would choose, it's what one of his people would choose. And sometimes we don't watch the same things, we don't say the same things, we don't follow the same things, but we make the hard choices, because that's what it means to follow Jesus.
That's a wicked awesome.